Welcome. That piece was Sea Journey, written by Chick Corea. It was originally recorded as Chick under the name Song for Sally, and it was a solo piano piece, but the great vibraphonist Gary Burton, who played a lot with Chick, and I'll talk more about later, recorded his version under the name Sea Journey, and that's the title that seemed to stick. The piece featured Michael Gordine, high five. And in the rhythm section, we had Amina Scott on bass, and Trent O'Neill on drums. So this evening is my senior recital and my thesis presentation. So the theme for the evening, for the past 2 semesters, I've been studying the music of Chick Corea and Bill Evans, 2 giants of jazz piano and 2 of my earliest jazz influences. I had learned growing up that Chick often cites Bill as a major influence on his music, but I wanted to really get into how their music relates to each other, since at first brush they're vastly different, as you'll hear. And Bill influenced a whole generation of jazz musicians. Chick has gone on to do the same, but Bill is most often cited for his singing melodic lines and his rhythmic displacement. His right hand melodies and his composition and his improvisation are just so lyrical, and he uses his left hand. He really plays out of the rhythm that most people would when they're comping, and creates a lot of forward momentum for his playing. But I feel that his contribution to Chick's music goes well beyond those commonly described influences that are often attributed to Bill. I think their music, first and foremost, is tied together by their respective approaches to jazz and their fundamental understanding of what jazz is. Bill talks about in a 1966 interview with his brother that, and this is the part of the quote that's in your program that comes from this interview, that he thinks of jazz not as a style of music, but as a process of music, a spontaneous creative process. And he explains that it's the process of making 1 minute's music in 1 minute's time, whereas when you compose, you can take many months to write music that's going to take 1 minute to play. And so this definition of jazz is a process that focuses on the experience of improvising and the concept of making music at the moment. Now, Chick was able to kind of draw on this from Bill's music, and he talks a lot about his hesitance to apply labels to music, to classify music into specific genres. So in one interview, he says that he finds it slippery to start to put musical experiences into neatly named categories, such as jazz, classical, Latin, etc. So these two ideas of jazz as a process and as a music that can't be categorized, I think really focus in on one idea, and that is freeing a musician on his or her playing, and particularly in regards to improvisation. They both remove restrictions that are associated with music and that allow a performer to focus on the sound of the music in the moment without being caught up in what style they should be playing. It's more about listening and communicating with the other people in the group. So that's kind of the idea behind the theme of this recital, along with kind of using these songs to trace the past of Bill and Chick's careers. Our next song is going to be a trio performance called Comrade, Comrade. It's a Bill Evans composition. And what you'll notice is that it does something that Bill does on a lot of his tunes. He'll do it in Waltz for Debbie later in the program. One of the songs I did in my junior recital, the trio piece we did there, he did it as well, was he switches between 3/4 time, da, 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 and 4/4 time, da, 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 kind of swinging feel. So you'll hear that in the song. We're gonna, on some of the recordings that I heard of this song, he did the melody, intro, the head of the tune, the melody. Yep, those aren't good. For those of you who thought that my stories would be more abbreviated on stage, not the case. I'm always painfully detailed. So we're gonna start with the head playing in 3/4 time. 4/4 time, and then in 3/4, but then for the solos we're going to switch it so the beginning half of the tune will be in the opposite time signature. So I hope you enjoy it. It's Comrade, Comrade. Over the course of their careers, both Chick and Bill spent time as pianists in Miles Davis' band. Miles Davis, of course, is the great jazz trumpeter. Bill replaced Red Garland in the group in 1958. In 1959, while Bill was still with the group, they released Kind of Blue, which is the best-selling jazz album of all time. Bill left the group later that year to pursue his trios that he led, and in the early 60s, Herbie Hancock played with Miles and then was replaced by Chick Corea in 1968. So both Bill and Chick were heavily influenced by their time with Miles, and it reflects a part of their careers that they really developed and their names became really known. We're going to do a tune called Milestones, which both Chick and Bill played The arrangement starts kind of based on a trio version that Bill Evans does, and moves to a more avant-garde feel throughout the solos. It builds more in the direction that Chick's playing would have been at the time, because by the time Chick joined Miles in the 60s, he was more in an avant-garde phase for his music. And then as the piece comes back into the melody on the way out of the tune, there's going to be a movement back towards the original Bill Evans version, or not the original, the song, but the place where this arrangement starts. And on this piece, we're going to welcome Nate Ward on trumpet and Scott Clemens on alto sax. This next piece is called Friends. It's the title track of Chick Corea's 1978 record. I discovered this song in high school. It's light, it's fun, it's been one of my favorites since then. Chick played on an electric keyboard for this, so I'm going to do that as well. Hope you enjoy it. It's called Friends. back to Gary Burton, the Vibes player who popularized the first song, Sea Journey. Chick and Gary started collaborating in the early 70s. They've toured and done many recordings since then, both in full groups and as a duet. Communicating with each other and playing together, but not over each other, which isn't easy to do with the Vibes and a piano because they're similar makeup and they're both filling similar roles in the band. So it's really neat to hear them play. This piece was written by Gary Burton for the 1998 record called Like Minds, which featured Gary, Chick, guitarist Pat Metheny, bassist Dave Holland, and drummer Rory Haynes. It's a really super album. We're going to welcome back Michael to the stage on the Vibes. He's going to start us off with an intro. We're going to do a quartet version of the title track, Like Minds. and they're not easy. I copped out. I did Chick's actual solo in the song, so that's how he would have sounded. I wanted to do that to give an idea of the sound that we're trying to represent in our songs this evening. And there'll be a solo of Bill Evans' piece later as he would play it. This next piece is another Bill Evans composition, probably his most famous. It's called Waltz for Debbie. And like I talked about earlier, it's another song that switches between 3/4 and 4/4 time. Chick Corea has also played this song pretty frequently in his career, so it felt fitting to include it in tonight's program. I had written a big band arrangement for this tune last spring, and was lucky to have it recorded by Loyola's Jazz Band, and they made it sound good, so we're doing a scaled-down version tonight of the same arrangement. We're going to bring back Nate Ward and Scott Clemens, and we're going to welcome Ben Buckles on trumpet, Trevari Hopgoon on tenor sax, and Jay Hickey on trombone. So up next is a solo piece of mine. It's two of Bill Evans' tunes that both appeared on his 1959 album, Everybody Digs Bill Evans. The first is Epilogue, which is a short piece that kind of resembles a hymn, and that'll be followed directly into Peace Piece, which is an improvisation on a riff that Bill used on his performance on the same album, Everybody Digs Bill Evans, of Leonard Bernstein's Some Other Time. It's also the same two-chord riff that's featured in Flamingo Sketches, which is a tune on Kind of Blue, the album that he did with Miles Davis. Both Bill and Chick had classical training in their youth, which I think contributes to their ability to transcend genres in their playing. And in this piece, I think Bill's enjoyment of classical impressionism music, music is evident. He really liked to listen to Debussy and Ravel. I'm going to play much of the improvisation in the exact way that Bill did on this tune. It's one of the most beautiful pieces that I've ever heard. I really think it's really wonderful, so I hope I can do it justice. It demonstrates Bill's ability to create forward momentum in his playing. It's a really slow song, and it's built on just two chords, but he uses tension points and his lyrical playing to just have you waiting on each note. An interesting thing I learned in transcribing this song, the whole thing is on this two-chord pattern that sounds like this. And he repeats that over and over again, and the only time that he strays from that is when he comes to a significant resolution in the melody of his right hand. So it's another way he uses kind of rhythmic displacement to keep the piece moving forward. So even though he comes to resolution and all the tension is gone in his right hand, he suddenly switches things up in the left hand. So if you hear that, it's hopefully not a mistake. It should be what he was doing. Yeah, I guess without further ado, this is going to be Peace Piece. It's really slow. If you start getting drowsy, then I'll take that as a compliment means I'm playing it well. So feel free to close your eyes, relax. The next tune will probably wake you up anyways. So, Peace Piece and Epilogue, in the opposite order. Our last song for the evening is probably Chick Corea's most famous composition. It's called Spain.
Yeah.
It uses an introduction from Joaquin Rodrigo's Concerto de Aranjuez, and then develops into a really vibrant tune from there. I'm going to welcome back Amina Scott on bass, Trent O'Neill on drums, and Trey Happoon on flute this time. I want to take one more chance to thank all the guys who played with me. Nate Ward on trumpet, Ben Buckles on trumpet, Scott Clemens on alto sax, and Mike on vibes. We made it through some long rehearsals together, so it'll be content. And I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to support me. This has been really fun. Yeah, thank you. This is Sting.
Yeah. Thank